Oh, hello Garima. So let's count up what's more popular. So for number one, for this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And for the 1960s style, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I'm going to look at this style today, but as it was quite popular, they're both quite popular, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little drafting guide for this style tomorrow on Instagram, but not live. So even if you prefer style number one, you still be able to get a little drafting guide. So this is the most perfect 1960s dress. It has everything I love about 1960s. It's by Belinda Belville, and if you're looking it up, I think the brand was actually then called Belville Sassoon, if I can spell it. And they basically specialized in quite glamorous party wear. I think they might have worked, if not for the Queen in Britain, definitely for aristocracy. So you can just imagine lots of very glamorous parties. But what's nice about the dress is that it's quite clever pattern cutting, but quite straightforward. So I'm going to draw the whole line. The original, you can see they had shorter options as well. But that's just chopping off the skirt. I also had a look at the pattern envelope, and on the pattern envelope, the skirts are cut on bias, which is quite interesting. So let's zoom into the white one. It has that beautiful stiffness. It's very sort of Balenciaga, I find. A bit different, but it has that sort of sculpturousness. So let's draw this dress. So it's got a crew neck. So that would properly be your original neckline on your bodice block. But of course you can add a little, it would be beautiful with a roll neck, and alternatively also be beautiful with a boat neck or wider neck. That's of course always your own choice. Then it's actually got quite wide shoulders, so you can see again, I think that might well be either the original line of your bodice block or just slightly moved in. And I find when you're doing a sleeveless dress, I like to move in my shoulder a bit, because otherwise it can look a little bit heavy. So on your trowel, you need to check that this hits on the right place, and it will make all the difference from between being, if it's too wide, it will become really heavy. So getting the right spot, so just inside your rounded arm, that's where I would hit it, because otherwise it look quite it makes you look quite broad and quite heavy. So if you've got very not narrow shoulders, of course you can go for that, but for a lot of us, I imagine, we don't want that. Then the whole front is really plain, and then the clever thing happens here. So if I zoom in, do let me know if you've got any questions. I'm gonna answer them at the end if you have to. Oh, and I can see Heather has joined. Hello Heather. If you are my Patreon, anybody else, and I don't recognize your names, please let me know. I know quite a few of them by now, but a lot of you have usernames which are a bit different. So can you see that's our bust point here? And what's really clever is that's a dart, but then it actually becomes a panel which extends into the back. And at first I looked at quite a few images, I thought this was stitched on, but it is actually a separate bow. So this is slightly cleverer than I anticipated. So we've got our bust points. And then we've got a really nice sort of curved empire line. I think it's slightly, it is probably an empire because this is your, I've drawn it probably slightly too high. But that's your hip, that's your sort of belly button. So it's in between your belly button and your bust point, the seam, and that sort of acts as your anchor. And I think you got two options how it's constructed, because this is now basically loose. So this, I'm going to draw it in a second, this extends into your back panel. But the dress underneath is really simple. It's got a center front seam, and it's probably completely straight. I know I've drawn it slightly curved here. So it's just got a straight center front and two straight side seams. I mean, if you look at the back, actually I'm just checking whether it has a side seam. I actually think it hasn't got a side seam. So it's, if you draw the back first, I'm going to draw the back a little bit smaller. So the back is again really simple. It's got the crew neck, armhole, and what I like to do on a sleeveless dress, I like to drop my armhole a little bit, by a centimeter or so. Otherwise it can sort of bite into your arm, and especially like most of us having, if you have got super toned arm, it doesn't matter, but most of us, if you have a really tight arm, it sort of goes underneath it and it cuts it off. So it's better, but you can do it in a trowel, it's better just to slightly open your armhole, not much. You want to keep it in its original point around here, because that's where your bust point is, but down here you can sort of make it a little bit bigger so it's more comfortable and it looks quite often more flattering. So what we have here from the front, we got our panel with a big, and I think on the original it's a bias cut bow. It's like your present. All wrapped up with a big bow, and then actually, and this is all open, so that's quite stunning. And then underneath you actually got a zip in the original, and then you got your center back seam. So that's the front and the back. Then from the side, I think I'm going to do really bad side drawing as usual. So that's our shoulder seam from the back, from the side. That's my back here, that's my armhole, that's my front, and then I've got my panel, which sort of comes like this. And then at the bottom it goes like this. And then I think it might have no side seam. You can't actually tell. It could have a side seam. It's not quite clear because it's black, but you never can see anything. So it doesn't look like it has a side seam. I'm gonna double check on. I've made some more images. I'm gonna share them with you on my stories later. So I'm not 100% whether sure it's got a side seam or not, but you can put one in for saving fabrics. So let's talk about that bow a bit. So this bow panel, you can, if you want to make your life easier, you can actually stitch it on, just make it a panel. So it's just, there's a side seam, and then you just have like a sort of waistband, and then you got a bow attached, and that'd be much easier to make, because then it's just you're drawing on your bodice block. You just have your dart like this, and then you've got your style line like that, so you can move both your darts into that seam, and then you just got basically a seam, and then at the back that continues into a waistband. So that's really easy and straightforward, which is great. But let's, if you want to make it like the original is slightly more interesting. Oh, and hello Misha, I hope you're well. So the original actually hasn't got a seam there, it extends like that into a bow. So we basically got a panel. I'm gonna move it around a little bit. Ooh, have I just... paused?